and action. 9/11. This date marks the start of my podcast. This is pilot, episode 1. My objective is to record for an hour. I should probably plug in the power on this thing. We gotta record for an hour with audio. No drops. So this is gonna be an unscripted podcast. I'm just gonna have to go off the top of my head on what I want to talk about, because the majority of what this is about is asking what you think I should talk about. I have a few ideas for some things, but my interests cover a wide range, big wide scope. So it's hard for me to narrow down. I just gotta commit, just gotta do it. Let's just get some content out. So let's first talk about a marketing idea, or a video idea for similar to, I guess, marketing. Anyways, so there's 3 companies that I've thought of, and not real companies, but like I like to just come up with companies all the time, funny names with the companies. For instance, currently I'm operating an IT business called Today's Innovative Technology Solutions, which stands for TITS, if you haven't figured it out already. And then I've got another one called Silverhawk IT, Information Technology Services, which would cover just the computer part of it, I guess, whereas the TITS covers everything else. So we got shits and tits so far. And the sign and printing company called Affordable Signature Signs, which is responsible for the company's screen printing and commercials and business cards and design and marketing, all that stuff. So Affordable Signature Signs manages the marketing and the the marketing side of and online presence aspects of both shits and tits. And the objective is to get them on a conference call and see where it goes. It could be a lot of fun. It's going to see where it goes. I already said that. So yeah, conference call between those companies and a few other different ideas. But shits, tits, and ass are definitely going to be a common, ongoing, a running joke. I guess that's what it's called, a running joke. Running gag. What else we can talk about? I want to mention, aside from this being my first pilot, it is not the first podcast I work on. I'm a producer at the Get Heavy podcast. I'm going to put a link in the description below. I'm basically jumping on the bandwagon after having foot, as they say, my boots have been in the shitter. I need to start committing to my own art. I guess my art would be really just mostly format agnostic, but I produce a lot of videos. I've been involved in a lot of production. I'm going to have to place a link in the description below, which reminds me, hit the bell. It's on right here. The bell's right here. Hit the bell, please. Hit the bell. Thank you. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, comment, and then share, please, with everybody. Get Heavy podcast. We just did our 9/11 episode tonight, and at the end of the episode, the audio falls out. So about 30 minutes in, I lost some audio, and I don't know why. The Yolobox, okay? This is all being ran off the Yolobox currently. All right, I've got a Zoom H1 microphone as my audio. I should be recording. Dude, back up. Redundant recording. Okay, we are 5 minutes in, and we just started our audio redundancy. So, what I've learned so far from producing at the Get Heavy podcast is audio redundancy is necessary. Tonight, Craig wasn't recording sound, so I didn't have a means of going to the audio track that should have been recording originally. That's what we depend on as a backup. And he wasn't doing that, but that's okay. I should be running this Zoom recorder as redundancy as well, in addition to, because this Yolobox doesn't seem to be reliable. That's fucking dumb. Is any of my other Yolobox users out there experiencing a drop in audio ever? And also, the DSLRs. The DSLRs are the powering off or snapping off of power, and like we lose the frame in the middle of the feed. It cuts the feed and then comes back. You'll see it in a couple of the episodes that I've already produced. I don't know if you heard that. My cat's got the zoomies. She's running rounds in and out of the window. I built catio windows, or built catios on the windows of the front and back window of the house, and she does a circuit. Back window, front window, back window, front window. I should make a video of that. I need to get more of my cat videos published. I have a shit ton of cat videos. I'm considering doing a live feed with them in their windows, in their catios, because they're funny to watch. They're so fucking funny, dude. I could watch them for hours. And then I realized I got fucking shit to do, which reminds me that I'm like, why don't I just make them the subject? You know, I might as well make money off the cat views. So I need to establish a cat channel. You just make playlists with cats playing. It was told to me that I need to bring my 360 booth to the dog parks and start doing dog pet 360 videos. I'm definitely interested in trying that out. I'm currently rendering the episode that we just did, a Get Heavy podcast. I'm actually editing on Vegas 19 since Vegas 6, since 2006. I've been using Vegas. I started on I started on Macromedia Director on the Mac, editing. That was my first platform was Mac. On Macromedia Director in Miami High School, 1994. That was the first computer-based, I guess it's called non-linear editor. Before I was doing 3/4-inch tapes, Sony decks in high school, editing on toggle controllers. Set in, toggle forward, set out, chord or go or some shit. Press record on your edit tape and play on your raw, and you would have a rotating carousel of putting a puzzle together, of splicing and cutting and editing video cuts, taking out the dead space of visuals, dead movement, dead audio. Video is all about movement. That's why if you take stills and you use subtle zooms, ins and outs, and framing, cornering, you create movement this way, and it's similar to a film, and it creates the momentum for you by creating the movement and zooming in and out of the frame, keying the frame in and out. This kind of sounds unstructured, right? I'm just kind of going off the top of my head, trying to not leave out empty space. And what's the first thought that comes to mind now? Let's give a shout out to the other channel that we watched. That is Mel DeWeese. Let's talk about lighting. I'm currently using 2 bike LEDs. Normally I would be using a ring light. The reason why I mention this is because when we just shot this podcast for Get Heavy, episode 130, the lighting was poor because I did not bring my ring light, which is a studio quality ring light that is a very high power. We substituted with Craig's ring light that he had in the garage. I had to bring up the luminance and the brightness on this podcast. He's not going to like this. I already know. He's going to say we need a lot more light. This is plenty of light. This is what we need, okay? We need to be able to see. Then the ISO drops too low and it introduces too much noise into the picture. So you need to maintain great lighting, okay? I'm talking to myself mostly because I fucking suck at maintaining good lighting. And sometimes the audio's fucked up too. But it's still working on it. It's always a learning, it's always a growing, and it's always making corrections to mistakes, okay? There could be plenty of mistakes to be made. I'm doing this to narrow down the mistakes and narrow down the glitches, find out how this thing behaves. Okay, this Yolobox I had before, I had it a couple years ago, and I experienced glitches during recordings and live streams that told me that the software was kind of like not stable, and so I returned that product and decided that I wasn't ready at the time. We're going to revisit this project at a later date when the software gets improved. So far, these are my biggest gripes with this product. The audio gets out of sync. I had to go into post and realign the audio to sync it back up again. I never had to do that on I wonder if I would run another capture device attached to the Yolobox so that I don't use the Yolobox to record. Because if I can continue to see a constant sync issue, that's just bullshit. I'm sure I'm not the only one in this box. I've seen it. I didn't see it originally when I had the product 2 years ago, but I see it now, and it's done it several times. I had to go into the this episode and fix the audio. The audio dropped out in the last 3 minutes after 30 minutes. Okay, it cuts out, so that glitched out, and the cameras still are. The cameras are dropped, or the signal drops, which causes a blackout in the frame. Audio stays, it goes out for like 2 seconds, and then the frame comes back. The lens opens back up again. Can we get rid of that, Yolobox? Let's remind ourselves to upload it, this episode, or send them this episode. What else can we talk about? So, let's touch on a little bit of this rabbit hole of cover-ups that I continue to travel down. Okay, so recently, today is 9/11, and 3 days ago the Queen passed away, and not to say that there's any correlation or connection to this. However, in this rabbit hole, there's always numeric connections to timeline events like this, and 9/11 happens to be one of them. And the timing of the Queen passing, and then the transfer of power. We experienced the transfer of power at the same time within 3 days of 9/11. So 76 hours. 76 hours of the Queen passing, we're experiencing 9/11. And whereas normally today, I was kind of expecting something major to hit the headlines also. Another distractor or something. But the narrative in mainstream media shifts so rapidly that it's distractor after distractor after distractor, and I'm super aware of how fast this narrative shifts because there's a lot of unfinished stories and narratives that I constantly revert back to in my brain. Can we talk consciousness for a second? All right. My understanding, and this is why I would like to open up for discussion, and please put your comments below. Consciousness is a projection to the pineal gland, which is a single organ in our body. The pineal gland is responsible for consciousness, which is a projection. So, where does this projection stem from? Is it a light projection? Obviously, because this projection, and how much of this projection in the pineal gland plays relevancy to what we're picking up in our retinas and absorbing through that information. Okay. So, I had another thought. So I need to keep a notepad because these thoughts are fucking flying really fast. Back to consciousness. In the realms of like raw energy and what energy and resonance and waves. Light waves, sound waves, There's those. Why did I bring them up? Where is this going? Certain frequencies that our chakras respond to because they are either emanating or something. This frequency, or some shit. Anyways, there are some frequencies that our body responds to because our these 7 points within our body. It was, I guess, one's called the crown chakra, the root chakra, the heart chakra, throat chakra, something else. Like, there's all these chakras, and they all have these frequencies. There we go. So that's an example right there. 21 minutes in, frame dropped. Okay, Yolobox, please. And any of you Yolobox users out there, let me know. What's the problem? How do we solve this problem? Okay, I'm glad we got that covered. We got that behind us. Anyways, I'm glad the picture comes back too. This 6D that I'm shooting on right now and recording this with also happens to have Magic Lantern installed into it, so I'm wondering if the glitch is within Magic Lantern. If anybody's experiencing the same thing, please, like I said, comment below. Chakra bowls. You guys seen those videos on YouTube of chakra bowls and how whoever's got these chakra bowls, they use these sticks to resonate the frequencies from these bowls, and they're supposed to be healing. I'm wondering if those organs in those cathedrals are anywhere near those same frequencies, because supposedly those are also healing frequencies in those instruments that are no longer being produced ever. Those are really rare instruments of health that aren't really ever. I mean, I wonder how often they're exercised in today's time. Okay, so I'm a third of the way there. Let's see if I can get 40 more minutes. We're 99% done on our rendering for the Get Heavy podcast. We're going to be, why don't I stream that too? Let's pick up that feed. Okay, so I'm gonna once this is done rendering, we're gonna go through and we're gonna put it on YouTube. Or no, we're gonna upload it. I don't need to. No, I'm sharing it with them. I don't need to share that with you. So we're just gonna do this. Open folder. Cool. And then I go. Let's check it out.
I didn't realize it was 9/11, dude. And not one part of me today thought about 9/11.
That's good though.
I know, but never for, dude. I have remember 9/11 on my leg.
That's right.
Of all the people,
it doesn't even work. It's so awesome.
Yeah, I have the words "Remember 9/11," a tattoo that was given to me by Howie on a scavenger hunt, and he fucking straight misspelled it, and I love him to death. And I was dying when he did it, because remember 9/11 is a wild thing to get tattooed on you for points in a scavenger hunt. Yes. But remember 9/11 is a way better tattoo.
It's like 11 points, not 10.
Yeah, it is.
It's way better than the original. It's so good.
And it's right below my Patrick Swayze as a centaur on my.
I threw a compressor, an EQ, or not, just an EQ and something else to bring it back, and this is what I ended up with.
Friends, send us money, spread the word, hit the notifications bell on YouTube. What else do we need? Buy some merch. So there's only like 10 things that you have to do to support this podcast.
Dude, come on, Yolobox. We can't depend on you right now. We need redundancy. My dad showed me how to do stop motion animation with a Minolta 8mm camera. We started with G.I. Joe and Gumby, and I would make them walk across the desk in stop motion animation back and forth. The practice of doing that repetitiveness was very similar to like an assembly line for building a puzzle, except I was building the puzzle in the camera. And what I learned is the shorter the recording, the better it looks. So I was like, it's like an instrument, dude. 1 frame at a time, not 2. 1 frame at a time. So I got bored pretty quick of making stop motion animation. I wanted to make other types of videos, but I didn't stick. Somehow I went into I went to the computers. So the transition was stop motion animation. Video was my first hobby, and then computers came in. So once I got heavy into the computers, like building and fixing and shit, and then I was introduced to capturing. The post high school capture cards came out, and we started capturing the footage of tapes into the computer and editing in Adobe Premiere. So I go from Adobe Premiere, which I wasn't producing, I wasn't editing very much. In fact, I was working for a company in Camarillo one night after I graduated. They were doing Santa Barbara news. But in high school, I was doing the high school football team highlight reels for Ronnie Jenkins. And in 1996 or 7 or 8, I don't know. He did 96, maybe. 2 years before I graduated, he did 619 rushing yards against Real Mesa in a single game, and it caught the media attention. And so what I did was I assembled the media interviews with the highlight reel. We would send that to the colleges. And so that process was a lot of fun and a great experience. I loved it. But I didn't know how to go look for a job. I wasn't going to college, and I didn't know how to look for a job in video production. So I think I looked in the paper, and I found a company in Camarillo producing content for a producer in Santa Barbara, and their offices were in Camarillo. So I was like, all right. I was an intern, so I interned at this place, and set up cameras, set up equipment, set up mics, do the lighting, shit like that. I loved setting up studio because I ran Homework Hotline also. Narrowing down the kind of content that I want to produce on a regular basis. It's been always the challenge because I'm sitting on like certifications in. I have a construction certification, photography, graphic design, film, culinary. Well, I guess it would be firearms because of military stuff. And I built bombs and missiles. So, the narrowing down a topic to talk about is not easy. Oh yeah, and I also do like business stuff because I've been an entrepreneur and I've been doing business. However, like where I'm going with this is I would like to cover content regarding business matters and entrepreneurship. So I want to conduct interviews with other peers and the other business owners around me and get their feedback on the mistakes they've made so that we can find out the mistakes for people before they make them. We can share the mistakes so that you don't have to repeat them. Go from experience. One certification I would love to explore regularly is my culinary certification. I love cooking. I love mise en place. And I need to cook for myself more often. I'm not really good at it, so I figured that if I make some videos I can polish up. And an area I'd like to focus on is meal prep because that more suits the type of eating that I would be doing because I cook less. And I eat like a fucking bird, dude. Golly, I eat like a bird. So if I do meal prep, I feel like I will improve that situation. What type of things I would like to... Let's make a menu. Help me create a menu for meal prepping. Put your ideas, comment below on the meals that you like to use for meal prepping. One thing I'd like to try to do is a spaghetti, a pasta salad. I think I just listed some redundancy. Why would you need spaghetti if you have pasta salad? Because that's 2 starches. So maybe we'll just stick to a pasta salad. Okay? Asada taco, fish. Or shrimp. Wontons. Fish wontons? Why not? Maybe cook you steam the fish first and then chop it up, food process it and then mix it and then you roll them Maybe we'll talk to Real Anglers. There we go. Real Anglers. My buddy Kevin Brandon over at Real Anglers producing his content. We've worked together on a few projects. Go ahead and find that link in the description below and go and like and subscribe. Subscribe to that content below those links. So we've got Mel DeWeese, the Get Heavy podcast, and Real Anglers Fishing Show on YouTube. Okay, those three. We're gonna find out in our subs video. So we're at 37 minutes. We're not doing too bad. Maybe so. In terms of construction content that I would like to focus on, I have a fascination with building shelves at 33 degrees, and then building. And wood engraving. I love engraving and burning wood. So this right here is a sample of my wood engraving. A recent thing. It's not painted. No, I did 20 pieces in 3 locations. Coffee shop, local coffee shop down the street, the liquor store, and the mail spot. The liquor store has sold 2. Anacapa has sold 1 so far. And that was as of last week. Tomorrow, Monday, we're going to go follow up. It's been about a month, I think. I have to check the timestamps. But so I made 3 packs of 20 of these surfboards. I etched all over them, painted stripes on them, and put them out at the local shops as a pilot launcher to doing some engravings and selling some engraving art, and wood etchings. So these like little surfboards and like just knick-knack shit. Exploring the crafts hobbies as a business. What else? What else have I done for a business? The last business I was involved in was TV mounting. I started TV mounting during the pandemic, during the lockdown, and my neighbor asked me to mount his TV, and so I went up there and I mounted it, and it didn't take very long, and I was like, I could probably do this, and make some pretty good money. It didn't take too long. Let's see how it goes. So I put an ad out on Craigslist, and lo and behold, the moving section was very high traffic. So the labor and moving section, I would post an ad there, skilled trade and household services. So it grew from just TV, not just TV mounting, but also I was doing a lot of wire concealment and putting the outlets behind the TVs. And that became a very popular service to do, and it was a lot of fun. And then the stress I was just wrapped up into too much bullshit. So I told my best friend, you need to take over this business, and so he did. And then I took a break to recover because I just needed some mental health to address some issues, and we did. And now we feel a lot better now. And we've been talking to the doctor, and things are going a lot better. So in terms of exploring other certifications, hobbies into business, making commercials out of companies that don't exist yet, just for practice, just coming up with companies, coming up with marketing material for these companies that don't exist. For instance, the shits, tits, and ass need to be a regularly scheduled event. We need to create some content for these 3 companies. The venture that all of this media and content is produced under falls under Stay Paid Media. Stay Paid is an LLC that I started a few years ago. I was supposed to do ATMs, man. I bought an ATM from an old instructor off of Craigslist, but I didn't know he was my instructor at the time. When I met him, I realized, hey, you went to Brooks. Oh, yeah. So I bought this ATM, but I didn't do my research into the industry enough, okay? This legacy ATM was not upgradable to today's standard. I did have the software. I paid to have the software upgraded out of it. The computer, it was $500 upgrade, dude. So I figured my total investment is only $600 to enter into the space. Okay, my LLC cost me like $150. I was gonna do ATMs. Okay, the resistance that I found was at the bank. Man, all the videos on starting an ATM, they're not lying. It's hard to find a bank to work with you. They don't. It's too high risk. It's like working with weed. Weed money is all cash. ATM money is all cash. So finding a bank that was willing to work with high risk accounts is not easy. So I was tired of meeting resistance at that level, and I was spinning my wheels too much. So I figured I had to shift gears, because at the end of the day, I really wasn't really putting in the work. I wasn't willing to put in the work required to make those goals happen. That it was gonna in an effective amount of time that I would be happy with. So we took a break and refocused our attention, and then by February, I found. I think by December is when I discovered the 360 video booth business, and studied that for quite a bit of time. I studied it for a long time because I didn't have the money to pull the trigger right away. It was a little expensive to pull the trigger, but I did a lot of studying and found a supplier that at a price point that I could afford at the time. I did have to put it on a credit card, but still, it was worth it to enter the space because it facilitated a nice package. It was a component that formed a nice package of what I'm already engaged in. Okay, photography and video I've always been doing. So essentially, this 360 booth is a fancy tripod that allows me to broaden the amount of work that I can get and participate in and do, because now I combine that with some drone footage, and I throw in the slider, and I have the drone, the slider, the 360, and I think that's the three unique utilities and tools that I have on this production that make what's called an product to stand out. Okay, standing out equals outstanding. It's reversed. See, so if you create a product that makes you stand out, you can become outstanding. Vice versa, perform outstanding work, and you will stand out. Okay, those are what do they call those? Synonymous or some shit like that. There's probably some fancy words that describe what that is. And if you know what that is, hit that. Put it in the comment section, please. We're 45 minutes into this. I'm doing pretty good in terms of sustaining a flow of enough words that are going to generate my talking headness. I do need to. It's right in front of me. So I need to send this file to Craig. Dropbox. Alright. I currently use Dropbox, not a sponsor. Please, Dropbox, throw me a bone. To transfer my files during this production. I also have a subscription to Adobe, and Adobe has their cloud space. So I feel that there's a little bit of redundancy because I also have the freaking Microsoft OneDrive. Dude, if anybody has a way to map out and isolate redundancy, an isolated redundancy plan. That's what we need. An isolated redundancy plan. If anybody has one, please comment in the section below on how to narrow down what's best to work, because this redundancy is driving me fucking insane. Okay. So, that's in the can. It's 9:30. I have 10 minutes left of recording on this. Okay, 10 minutes. I'm going to try to hit that 1 hour space. What else can we talk about? Um, 360 videos and other ways to turn revenue are to possibly go to your tattoo artists and ask them if they would like a 360 portrait, and then ask them to post it and tag your Instagram in the post, Instagram, TikToks, whatever, as a thank you for doing so, because it doesn't take very long to set up for them. They love it. Everybody loves it. It generates a nice buzz for the business. Drives traffic. So, tattoo artists, drummers. If your platform can fit a drummer on there, if you have the large one, stick a drummer on there and set the camera to 240 frames per second. We're gonna run that as well. Oh, we're almost out of battery. That's what that's flashing. So we're gonna let this ride out with the flashing battery symbol. I get it. I appreciate. Thank you, Canon, for letting me have this wonderful 50 minutes so far. We're gonna ride out and let that battery die out and still continue to record until we have no picture. And that was a distraction statement. ADD's a motherfucker, which was probably all a misdiagnosis from kindergarten. I probably have more along the lines of an Asperger's. I identify more along the lines of symptoms with Asperger's than I do with schizoaffective. Bipolar, probably a little bit, but some Asperger's too. Dude, frequencies, too many layers, overload, sensory overload, triggers, and then there's a little bit of OCD. I have to maintain routine and structure. It's committing to those are important to me in order to keep myself lined up. The areas that I'm slipping up in the most are keeping myself fed on a consistent routine and remembering to take. I even have everything scheduled in my phone to remind me. I have a list called dailies. Let's take a look at dailies. But actually, executing these dailies are like, ignore. It's not working. What the fuck, dude? Come on, Kenny. I have to walk the dogs, feed the plants, feed the fish, take vitamins and supplements, eat, brush my teeth, dress and clean up everything from 8 to 9 a.m. How hard is that? Dude, remembering to do all this shit? It's right here. There we go. Oh. No, wait. It come back? Oh, we're... Okay, God, that's it. It's giving me the last warning. Anyways. Okay, we're going to wrap this up. Again, I can't stress this enough. Check out the description for the links. Hit the bell. Like, comment, and share. Thank you. I appreciate you. Have a good night.